We are back. Welcome to the 2019-2020 school year. My name is Carissa Velasquez, and I have the privilege today to tell you about an awesome tool that you can incorporate into your classroom for this year, which is something known as Flipgrid. For those of you who do not recognize the name Mrs. Velasquez, is because I just changed my name over the summer. I did get married last fall, so this fall I'll be transitioning to Mrs. Velasquez. I was previously known as Miss Sanchez. I have the privilege of teaching 3 different sections. First one, I teach Modern World History seat-based. The second one, I am starting a new course, or have the privilege of teaching a new course through the e-learning program. That will be a Modern World History honors course online. And then finally, I also teach 2 sections of AP Human Geography. If you need any assistance, I'm located in the new building, room 106. And I'm available most days. I stay Tuesdays and Thursdays after school till 3:30. I'll be honest, probably more like 4. And that's where I have my office hours. So if you ever need any support or have any questions, I am no expert, but I am also learning Flipgrid and how to incorporate better in my classroom. So if you would like to come by and share your ideas or have any questions, my door is always open. All right, before we get started, let's go ahead and talk about our objectives for this webinar series. Our content objective for today is that teachers will be able to set up a Flipgrid account and explain how they'll incorporate Flipgrid into a lesson. Our language objective, teachers will record a verbal response answering the question, how will you incorporate Flipgrid in a lesson for this school year? So my goal by the end of this webinar series is that you'll be able to log into Flipgrid, set up a grid, and also think about one way you can incorporate it into your classroom. The cool thing about this as well is I'm going to sort of put you in the student's shoes. You'll actually get to go onto the grid. You'll post a video response through, again, the app or through your webcam. So it's nice for us to put ourselves in the shoes of the students and experience of what they'll actually be seeing and responding to on the grid. So just a word about our students. We are very aware that our students here at the colony and in general in this bracket are digital natives. Most of our students are very comfortable talking in images, pictures, videos, social media. They like to communicate in very short bite-sized ideas. So the Flipgrid is a method to practice that sort of public speaking, verbal speaking, but using a platform and method that students are very comfortable with. The other thing that I really like about this tool is that it's all based through the technology that they can access through a Chromebook, or for a lot of them, they have access to their mobile smartphones. So if our students, in many cases, the smartphone is their hub, they can access their Aries, they can access their PowerSchool Learning or their Schoology accounts. And students can also download an application for Flipgrid, and that way they can use the recording or record a response for your classroom right through their smartphone. All right, Flipgrid is pretty simple. I'm going to go ahead and just spend a few short minutes just kind of introducing the basic vocabulary of Flipgrid, and then my goal is to sort of walk you through how you can set up your account for today. So for Flipgrid, the question, okay, what is a grid? Step 1 of this process is you'll actually be creating a grid. The grid, think of it as like your community. This is where you're going to have all your students enrolled, and this is where you're going to sort of post your topics to discuss. So last year, for my first year using Flipgrid, I created 2 grids. I created one that was for my world history students, and I created one that was for my human geography students. This year, I will be dividing it out. I'm going to create 1 grid per period. I think it will be a little easier to organize and check in on their responses. So once you create your grid, then you can sort of personalize it. You can add photos, you can add your banner. So you can create one first period history, second period algebra, so whatever is going to be working for your classroom. Once you create the grid, that's where you actually set up your topics. So the topics are going to be the questions or the links or the stimulus that you would like students to respond to using that video recording platform. So the 2 examples here, you can keep it real simple. You can start off with a very entry-level, low-risk question. I've seen this used for classroom introductions. So maybe you're thinking about how you could incorporate it in week 1 or week 2. Have students log on to the grid, click on the topic. Maybe the question is posed, what is one of your favorite hobbies or interests, or one thing that you think I should know or your classmates should know about you? or maybe you play a little game, 2 truths and 1 lie, figure it out. So you can kind of keep it very simple. You can also add additional resources. So for example, right here you have a YouTube clip. So you can create a little maybe 2 or 5 minute clip from YouTube. And then the question that students have to respond to is, watch the recent rocket launch. What do you think will be the future of human space travel? You can also link Google Docs. So if you want them to look at a document, you want them to look at a rubric, you can also attach that and then provide a little bit of background of what they'll actually be recording on the Flipgrid platform. Step 3 is where the students actually share. So they will be recording a video response. So they'll need access to either a smartphone that the camera can record their face and their response, or in classroom, they'll need access to the Chromebook. So the Chromebook already has the webcam set up. Students know how to access that. They are very fluent in that. So once they would log on to flipgrid.com and they would access your grid, there'll be a prompt for them to click a green button, and that's where they'll record into the topic or answer the question you have posed. If they're using their smartphones, they can download the app, and again, through the app, they can also access the grid, and they can use their camera phone to record their response. Now, the cool thing about this as well, once you get into the grid, you're going to see there's a bunch of different ways that you can choose to customize based on the topic, based on your students' needs. One of the things that's nice right here is that you can set up the video length response. So if you would like your students just to give maybe a 1 minute, just here's the gist, here's the main idea, here's one question for the day, you can sort of cap them so they can't ramble on a tangent. If you would like to give them more time to perhaps develop their ideas or incorporate evidence, you can change that feature. I also played around with the maximum amount you can use for Flipgrid is a 5-minute window. So last year I also had students create outside videos using Adobe Spark or looking at Screencastify, and they actually got to upload through the Flipgrid community. So there's different ways you sort of incorporate the length. Students love the fact that they have unlimited retakes. So just as I'm recording this webinar, I probably recorded it maybe 1 to 10 times. So there is a little bit of intimidation recording yourself, your voice, and also showing your face on camera. So students have the flexibility. It's not a one and done. They have the chance to practice. They can retake it. Students also enjoy the fact that they're able to personalize their grid images. So there's different options, kind of like their social media accounts, that they can add stickers, they can add drawings. I will say a word of caution. First time I used this feature, I had some students putting emoji faces over their faces or making silly drawings. So it depends on your students. If you would like your students to add that creativity and a little bit of fun, I did choose to take that feature off. It just depends on what you would like your students to use. And then finally down here, the students can add titles, they can add hashtags, they can add attachments as you go through. So when students post, you'll actually, step 4 is where you'll have your learning community. And students can see that the whole grid, and it will have your class of 40 or 40 plus. You can see right here it has everybody's picture. It has their response. It also has the length of response. So right here it looks like Sarah's was 56 minutes. Over here, 1 minute 28. And then it shows who's viewed the video as well, which is a useful tool. So below on the Schoology page, I provided some other links to some different websites. So how to use Flipgrid, there's some different ideas you can kind of check out through. If you're really interested, if you go to flipgrid.com, there's a discovery library. Now, the discovery library has a ton of different lessons, already pre-made ideas that you can literally borrow, you can adjust or modify for your lesson. So here's another example, right? It's not content-based, but if we're focused on mental health and that social emotional piece, I like this one. What are you thankful for today? Now that could be a post that you could incorporate on a regular basis and some variation. It would take you less than 1 minute, and it could be a way to incorporate that into your classroom. And then if you scroll further below, you'll also find some different links. So again, this is a very short and sweet webinar. Disclaimer, I am still learning Flipgrid. I know several teachers have also incorporated Flipgrid into their classrooms, so I welcome them to perhaps post and share their ideas. But there are different webinars you can check out, as well as different resources if you're interested in getting more information. All right, so let's go ahead and take it to the Flipgrid and get your grid set up for today. All right, you want to go ahead and click on the link below, and it's going to say Administration Flipgrid Sign Up. So it's going to prompt you to sign up for Flipgrid. Easy enough. You don't even have to put in your password and your email. You can just simply sign up using your school Gmail account. All right, once you log into the Flipgrid, it's going to have a welcome page. You can see at the top it has some different options. So easy enough, when you come here, it will be the activity page. Now mine's already set up because, again, I did incorporate this last year, so you can see different grids, different topics, different views across the board. Then you want to go and click up at the top where it clicks My Grids, and you can see that I have 3 grids. So like I mentioned before, I did set up one for World History, I set up one for my AP course, and I set up one for our webinar series for today. So easy enough, you'll go ahead and just click the blue button and it'll be New Grid. So you'll go ahead and set up the community type. I think it's easier enough. I usually set them up with my school email. You can also set it up whether it's just public or PLCs. You can change it, so you can put the name. So in this case, I already set one up, and I can put the Anaheim High School Flipgrid Webinar Series. You can also create a flip code. So if you just want to keep it simple, there's a pre-made one that's already included. But if you want to go ahead and customize it, so if I want to put Sanchez World History Webinar, I can go ahead and add that right there, and it will tell you if it's available or not. And you click Next when it works. Okay. And once you go ahead and set it up, you'll go ahead and click right here, and this is where you'll have your grid set up. Now you can also add right here, you can add a little picture. So I put a super excited, we're jumping for joy because we're going back to work. And then you go ahead and scroll down, and this is where you'll add your topics. So for the new grid, it's going to give you introduction. For this part, I went ahead and I already put in a new topic. So if I'm putting a new topic right here, I'll just show you briefly. You want to go ahead and put in the topic title. It gives you a space to go ahead and put in some tips. This is where I was showing you, you can sort of customize how long or how short you want the video to be. It shows you when you would like the topic displayed. And then right here, it gives you a space to include if you want to give directions or give background or sort of incorporate what the students need to respond to. You can also choose whether or not, again, you want the videos moderated. So early on, perhaps depending on your student's level or maturity, you might want to moderate and just take a look and make sure they're making the appropriate posts. And of course, as you get farther in the year, you build that trust. You can go ahead and take that off, or depending on your class. It also is going to tell you when you want to create or launch or freeze. So in this case, you have the option of, well, if it's active, it means you can go through and watch the videos as well as post to the grid. If it's frozen, that means you can no longer post, but you can go through and actually watch the old videos. If you scroll further down, this is where I said you can add the stimulus or the video. You can upload images, so different topic resources that can help your students understand what they should be doing. Here you have attachments, so if you want to upload like a rubric or a Google Doc. And then finally down here you have some video features. So this is where I was saying be mindful, just be aware. Video features, it allows students to decorate their selfies with drawings and stickers. So I take it off, but again, if you would like to add that creativity, you can provide that for your students. And then basic feedback, it allows you to add feedback. So once you click that, you go ahead and create topic. So what I've done is I've already set this up, and I've already set it up right here. Now, there's my nerdy face ready to go. And what you'll do is you'll go ahead, and it says the topic has no responses. So on the end of the grid, you're going to go ahead and go through Flipgrid. Now, this is the flip code. So view as a student right here if I click. So viewing as a student, you're going to go through and you can go ahead and set it up with your email account in this case. So now I can see what the student or what you will see. So this is that big green button I was showing you. That's where you actually record. Now what I provided for you guys up here is I recorded myself. Don't mind the nerdy thumbs up, but I recorded myself with a brief overview of the directions of what you need to post. So you can just kind of see. Hey everybody, this is Carissa Velasquez. And I'm providing this little video tutorial to show you how you can provide a video tutorial